Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys football. The fellas cashed the 3.5-point tickets on Penn State. Though I live for that game. It is midnight. I'm gassed. I feel like I just went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. I said that on the backyard, bro. I live for that. I live for this Thursday night. Great college football games. What an ending. Penn State, the real deal, cashes for the boys. Dill, I'm going to open it up to you. What are your initial thoughts on the game?
The fact that you are still a Sean Clifford believer.
He's a winner. He wins.
Oh, that wasn't winning football by Sean Clifford. Like that last drive, fine, good. But that pick, unacceptable. That second half of the football game, really not great. Like his wideouts made some individually great plays. That number 5, that play on the sideline was huge to make that guy miss, get another 30 yards. But that's not good enough. And this is 6 years now going on Sean Clifford, and that was
the thing with the Sean Clifford hate is that you know what Sean Clifford is. He's a 6-year guy. If he was a special talent, he'd be in the NFL right now. He is a plus Big Ten quarterback, and quite frankly, it's hard to be a good quarterback when you can't run the football.
I don't think I've seen a quarterback look like that position is more difficult than it looks, because Sean Clifford, everything looks impossible. The only times he really shines is when the play breaks down and when he can run and scramble and find a guy. But the fact he just doesn't make it happen in the pocket, the ball never gets out of his hand.
I'm not gonna sit here and listen.
It's a good win for Penn State, but
it's a good win for Penn State. They go on the road and beat a Big Ten team that was 9-4. And by the way, I gotta just shout out to Purdue fans. I was wrong. I was wrong about Aiden O'Connell. I was wrong about this Purdue team. I loved the Penn State 3.5 pick, and I feel scummy cashing it because Penn State probably did not deserve to win that game. I said all summer Purdue was going to struggle on offense because they lose. I viewed that offense as a personnel offense. David Bell, Milton Wright. Who's going to be catching balls for Aiden O'Connell? And I thought that Purdue offense would struggle. That's a scheme offense. Jeff Brom, and Aiden O'Connell's for one a stud. He's a baller. But Jeff Brom schemes up such a good offense. I mean, it seemed like Penn State was playing with 10 players. That's how open these guys are.
You also don't know who Charlie Jones is. Like, if you watched him at Iowa, you'd be like, let this guy be on an offense that's half competent, and he would be lighting it up. I mean,
Charlie Jones was absolutely
that number 87 is a horse at a tight end. That's an NFL football player, 100%. And they did run the ball okay. That running back I thought was really tough, really physical, and kind of a workhorse. And yeah, O'Connell's great. You know how I feel about him. I still think being on the Purdue side of that was the right side. It lost, but
you're salty.
Purdue is the better football team.
I do want to say, like, Aiden O'Connell's the real deal. That Purdue team is going to be good this year. I missed that. Here's my concerns about Penn State. Now I'm calming down a little bit. I've hit my head multiple times. I do think I have a concussion or just massive dehydration, as I was pretty much just drinking a Monster energy drink for the whole night.
Pathetic.
Yeah, down bad. I had a Domino's pizza and a Monster Energy. My head hurts. My body feels horrible, and I'm pretty much just running on adrenaline right now. Here's what I'm nervous about Penn State. They can't run the football. I thought the key to – I didn't think the offensive line was as bad. The second half, it was worse. I just thought the running backs – and I mean, two guys who are true freshmen, they're not used to going up against Big Ten level talent. I thought Singleton's going to be good. But it was his first game. I think he needs to kind of see some more Power 5 level play before he gets acclimated. But again, I go back to this. Sean Clifford is a plus quarterback at the Big Ten level, but he needs help. And his wide receivers, quite frankly, weren't giving him help. In the running game, we're not giving him help. It's going to be a long season for Penn State. And I'm not – like, this was such a good win for Penn State. They need to figure out the run game. Like, what did they –
and I don't want to jump on them too hard because, like, Purdue's good. And I think Purdue's going to be I think they're going to be competing for that side of the division. I think Wisco can be a problem for them for sure because they're really physical and with Braylon Allen. But they're 1,000% going to be in the conversation. They're better than Nebraska. I think they can beat Minnesota. So I think they're up in that range where they can win that side. So this, I get that, like, yeah, I think if you're a Penn State fan – too much of the game was really sloppy. The wideouts, you're right, they need to catch the football like multiple times. The ball Drew Allar through, that has to be caught. But also, like, Sean Clifford needs to probably get the ball out a little faster.
Sean Clifford did hold on to the ball long, and also, I mean, shout out Penn State. I mean, they went on the road, beat a very good Purdue team, throwing a pick six. That is hard to do. Now, Sean Clifford, he is what he is. I need guys like Parker Washington to step up. I thought he'd be more of an impact. Tinsley's a great transfer from Western Kentucky, but I don't know if he can be a wide receiver one. And that offense, quite frankly, seemed like they missed Jahan Dotson in a big way. They need to run the football better, and they need better wide receiver play. The defense, I don't know how to view. Like, Joey Porter Jr. looked really good at times, but then Charlie Jones was getting the best of him at times as well. I think the pass rush looked good towards the end of the game. This Penn State team, I think there's two keys. And I've been saying this all of last year. Like, this Penn State team was really good last year until they got banged up and it kind of went downhill. And you look at their schedule last year, they were in a lot of football games. The ball just didn't break their way. This Penn State team can be a top 25 team, can be maybe a top 15 team. They need to run the football better, and they need some action from their wide receivers because Sean Clifford is not a guy that can do it himself.
And also, shout out the NCAA with that targeting.
Garbage.
Probably
Garbage.
the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I do think that kind of changed a little bit how the game was going, because that did feel like it swung the first half and prevented Penn State from really kind of jumping on them a little bit.
Quite frankly, I was a little disappointed in James Franklin's reaction. I remember when Matt Campbell had a player kicked out of the Big 12 championship game and he went nuke. Like, I actually thought he was going to get an assault charge on the referees. James Franklin just gives his guy a tap on the helmet and pretty much like the sideline was dead. Yeah, like, that's when you're the boss, man. You got to get the boys fired up and be like, we're playing for this kid now. Yeah, he didn't really. Yeah.
Because it was a really bad call. I think those targetings hurt, especially because that was a very good linebacker. I know the broadcast mentioned it. I mean, we didn't get to see him necessarily, but obviously they were saying he was great. But ultimately, I guess at the end of the day, I do think this is going to look like a very good win for Penn State. I think Purdue's going to be ranked.
Yes.
They'll be close. They'll be in the hunt for being.
No, I think they're a top 25 team. That offense looks sick. It looks like they can run the ball a little bit more. And that was the one thing you wanted to see is they were dead last in efficiency rushing the football. They looked better. Penn State front seven, that's hard to run on. I thought they did well. One other thing I want to know before we get out of here, because I think I'm going to fall asleep out here. Drew Allar. I mean, in terms of pure arm talent, that was very, very impressive. That ball he put on that tight end that should have been caught. I mean, this dude spins it effortlessly. And if Sean Clifford, who is already banged up, needs to come out, you kind of feel good that Drew Allar didn't look too bad on his first drive. And as a Penn State fan, you saw the future. Singleton, Drew Allar. Like, you're ready to rock and roll. Penn State's got a very bright future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think, like, the last handful of years, and I know you're going to disagree, I think there's been a big drag on that team led by Sean Clifford because A, has missed a fair amount of time, so you've had disruptions in that sense, and B, I also don't think the play has been good enough, and that's a 6-year senior who's been playing for like almost 3 years now. I think if I was Penn State fan, I'd be kind of ready to, because he's not going to win a Big Ten title, you know that. I mean, you watch that game, you can tell.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trot out Drew Allar because the offensive line isn't ready. I don't think the wide receivers are ready. And you don't want to throw a kid out there that is not surrounded by enough talent. I think Sean Clifford plays out the season here. Hopefully he stays healthy. Like, I'm a Sean Clifford guy. I get he's nothing special, but like, he kind of epitomizes what him and Aiden O'Connell kind of epitomize what college football is about. You got to respect them at least as players. And so I think it really works well where Sean Clifford is going to play the season. Penn State, I don't think will win a Big Ten title, probably not in competition to win a Big Ten title. And I hope Penn State fans don't get too mad at me for saying that. But next year, like the way James Franklin, for as much heat as he's taken, he's recruited at an extremely high level. You have your heralded 5-star recruit at quarterback. You have a guy who's a freak at running back. You have some young talent on defense. The future is bright for Penn State. It might not be this year, but the future is going to be bright for Penn State. You got to be
pumped. I agree with that. And these are the type of games they need to win a little more consistently because they're in so many games. And in the past, like 2-3 years, they just haven't been winning these games. Like you think back to the Indiana game, you think back to the Michigan game, Michigan State. Like these games need to be wins because they're right there with all these teams. Even like a couple of times against Ohio State. Like, and this is like the type of win you need. And yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think the future is bright, and I don't think this year is going to be a knockout year for Penn State. But I think when you see the pieces, you see a Drew Lour who can be something really special. I think Penn State fans are on the whole excited, and they just want to see. I think you want to see those young running backs play really well. I think you want to see if some wide receiver talent can emerge, and if you're
I can see that. I can see that where you want to get kind of what Michigan did last year. Like you want to get JJ McCarthy, you want to get Donnie Edwards involved. I think Penn State's going to want to do that. And hopefully they have certain opportunities to get Drew Lour some snaps, not necessarily QB1 starting, but get him some burn. Get him on the field.
I think I'd want to see like a little bit of it. But I also I'm a big play the young quarterbacks immediately because why not?
Yeah, you are definitely a simpleton in that regard.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to compete for a Big Ten title, what's the point? Like, we're just going to have a dead year? Like, let the guy play. He's obviously the future.
That's true. But I think you let Sean Clifford ride until you're not undefeated. Anyways, that'll do it before I just absolutely pass out. What a Thursday night for the boys. Again, just absolutely electricity. If you guys do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Start rocking with the ROC Boys. We sharing picks. We're talking ball. We appreciate you guys for real. And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.